pumped for game night. And plus, calm also means don't look ahead. I mean, try to focus on the game at hand. And even though there's only 8 Division I teams playing right now in the state of Michigan, you got to do that. You got to focus.
How important is the turnover battle on this one, the turnover ratio?
Well, it's important in every game. You look at the games that have been played in the playoffs, and the teams that turn the ball over lose the games, whether they're better teams or not. So you can't turn the ball over. It's your prized possession, and you have to really respect it and take care of it.
I think if you score early on them, you can kind of take them out of what they like to do?
You know, I'm hoping that we can score early, and I am hoping that we can take them. They're multiple offensively. They do power stuff, they do misdirection stuff, and they throw. So we've got, you know, it kept us busy trying to game plan for them.
During the MAC Red season, you guys played a few misdirection teams. L'Anse Creuse North to start the year, Anchor Bay during the season. Does that help you guys prepare for a team like this?
Oh yeah, we can bank on some of that stuff. You know, we finished up the 9th game against Port Huron Northern, a wing T team, a misdirection team, which runs a lot of the same things they do, and we did real well against them. But you know, you have to have field position, you have to play defense, you have to possess the ball, and you have to get first downs and lead them to touchdowns. Finish your drives with either a punt, a field goal, or a touchdown.
Well, then we heard from both coaches. Dave, this is a Churchill team that runs a lot of the wing tee, a lot of misdirection. A lot of people like it, a lot of people hate the wing tee. What are some things you have to do as a defense to be successful against that type of offense?
It's assignment football. You can't over blitz the wing tee. You can't really guess too much because the inside trap, outside trap, boot, and really you just play your assignments and you hope you get them in a long yardage situation where you can blitz them. But other than that, you just play base defense, I feel, and that's probably the best way to prepare for them and stop them.
Well, Stevenson has done that, played base defense all year very well. They played against a few wing tee teams already and had success. We're going to take a break and be back with the opening kickoff in a moment.
They're voluntary after-school activities available to those enrolled at the school who meet eligibility standards, not a property right. They're tools to help reach and motivate students, aiding classroom performance and rallying community support for school programs in general. They're staged in a classroom requiring the proper atmosphere, good sportsmanship at all times. They teach loyalty, school spirit, teamwork, hard work, discipline, sacrifice, leadership, and sportsmanship to help participants gain a lifetime appreciation for arts, sports, and healthy lifestyle. They emphasize participation and academic scholarship in the classroom for the many. They are programs where local school administrators make decisions in the best interest of all participants. They are programs which emphasize local competition, not statewide and national events.
High school sports, it's about.
Hey, welcome back everyone to our game of the week. Getting ready for kickoff here between the Stevenson Titans and the Chargers of Livonia Churchill. Both teams coming in with solid records. Churchill 8-3 on the season. John Filiatro, the coach for them in his 8th year, 25-49 career record, but 2-0 all time in the playoffs. Both those wins coming this year in their first appearance in the postseason. On the other side of the sidelines, Rick By in his 30th season, 226 career wins, 77 losses. He's 21st all-time in MHSAA history. He's got a 20-13 career playoff record, so nothing new for Coach By, this type of...
No, he's been in this before. Now he's just got to relate his experiences to his players and hope they settle down and play with poise.
Frank Beltran to kick it off for the Chargers. Stevenson back to receive, and Aaron Belfiore has it. Belfiore out across the 20 and gets a seam, and Belfiore out near the 40-yard line, and the Titans will start out with excellent field position in this one. 36 yards on the return for Belfiore, and Stevenson starting out with not exactly a short field, but good field position nonetheless.
Great field position, especially since the Titans have such a potent offense.
Belfiore, not really a speed return man. He's maybe a little more back there because of his sure-handedness. Now the Titan offense goes to work, led by Danny Stiefel. 60% completions, 11 touchdowns, 8 picks on the year coming in. Matt Deletka, the sophomore, in motion, and the give is to the up man, Matt Muglia, and a good chunky yardage for Muglia on first down before he's pulled down by Nicholas Kerrigan.
Just an inside trap, and it looked like Livonia Churchill went to a 6-1, and once you pop through that initial line, there's a lot of yards to run.
Well, Muglia had a good week last week against Athens, 9 carries for 60 yards. So it was certainly a vital part of the offense last week.
Here'd be a great down to go deep early on, see if you can catch Churchill off guard.
And they run to L.J. Robertson, and Robertson on his 200th carry of the season as a Stevenson first down and a pickup of about 9. Well, that Titan offensive line that has been solid all year, off to a good start in this one.
Definitely off to a good start, and Churchill wants to make sure that they do not let Stevenson keep up the momentum they had from last week.
Well, to look at it, Robertson gets a good 3, 4, 5 yards before he gets touched oftentimes this year. 1st and 10 for the Titans, and they give to LJ again. Robertson spins his way forward, and he gets inside the 40 to about the 36.
Well, Churchill's up in what looks to be a 6-man front, and they're not getting any penetration whatsoever. It's making for easy running lanes for LJ.
Robertson, 1,587 yards and 20 touchdowns on the season for the junior coming into this one. It's a move he's kind of perfected this year,
Yeah.
that spin move. Certainly one of his favorite tricks of the trade, so to speak.
Saw that a lot last week.
And they pitch it out to Robertson, and Robertson down near the 30. That's going to be close to a first down. Manuel Schubert, the tackle for the Chargers, and Schubert, a stud at linebacker for Livonia Churchill. One of their stars this year, enters the game with 130 tackles on the season, and that's quite a year for anybody, let alone a high school player.
It's a busy guy, especially since he's got quite a few carries on offense as well.
He said they rely on him heavily on defense to make plays. Kind of let him roam free, and that's what he does for them. There's Robertson along the left side, gets a block from Muglia, reads it well, bounces back to the outside, and he's inside the 20 for another first down.
Frank Zombo had a great block out there at his wide receiver position. He depleted one of the Churchill defenders. Churchill's changing up what they do on defense. That time they were in a 5-man front, so they're looking for answers here to stop the Stevenson Titan offense.
Muglia and Robertson and Venetilia benefited from the great blocking from that line and from Kevin Kilgo at the tight end spot. See kind of the very end of the run there. LJ reading that block well, bounce to the outside, then in and then back out off of the block of Muglia. Even their wideouts block. This is a very potent Stevenson offensive line as they go inside the 15 on that carry for a gain of about 5.
Well, whenever you see those big long runs, chances are there's a receiver out there that's blocking a DB effectively. And I tell you what, the Stevenson Titan offense, as good as it is, I think probably the thing that doesn't get talked about enough is the fact that their wide receivers really, really do block.
The wideout position, Zombo 6'4", 230, and Matt Deletka, a sophomore, 6'2", 176. So they got some good size, to say the least, at the wideout position. That give is to Muglia, and he breaks a tackle and gets down inside the 10. Gain of 6 by Muglia.
Muglia did a great job last week on those inside runs, and he's picking up where he left off.
Last week, Stevenson was able to get the win without even having to really use Ricky Venetili very much. Another good weapon for them. He only had 2 carries last week in the Stevenson victory. And they're 1st and goal here in the first quarter. And the give is to Robertson, and he powers his way inside the 5, down to about the 2. Bring up a 2nd and goal for the Titans.
Look like they just ran a power. And once again, I haven't seen a play yet where Livonia Churchill has really penetrated that offensive line to cause them problems.
This Churchill team not not a big sack team, so they don't get a whole lot of penetration. Their leading sack guy, Hubenschmidt and Johnson, both have just 2 sacks going into the year. And there's a touchdown by Stevenson, and they strike first here. L.J. Robertson, touchdown number 21 on the season, and he gives Stevenson a 6-0 lead here early in this one. That drive was all offensive line.
All offensive line and all running.
It's starting to look a little bit like that Athens game last week. Bob Busan on for the point after. And Busan's extra point is up and good, and the Titans have struck first here in the first quarter. They lead at 7-0.
High school sports are a privilege enjoyed in Michigan by over 250,000 young people annually. Only in America is this after-school activity so tightly entwined with, yet secondary to, a school's mission, educating boys and girls to become productive members of society, tomorrow's leaders. Schools offer these programs because they enhance the educational experience of the youngsters who participate. If that message gets lost, then so do the programs.
High school sports, it's about.
7 runs from Robertson, 2 runs from Muglia. Danny Stiefel didn't have to do a whole lot other than take the snap and hand off. And the Titans are up 7-0.
And I think it's a lot easier for a quarterback and a team to play ahead than it is from behind. It's a lot more relaxing.
Busan's kick is taken at about the 5:43 on the return. That's Carignan. And Carignan gets up over the 20 to about the 22. So first down for the Chargers as they take the field. Chargers run a lot of the wing T formation. Francisco Beltran, their leading weapon out of the backfield, 94 carries for 815 yards and 5 touchdowns on the season. John Thomas, the quarterback, 5 touchdowns and 3 picks. There's a give to Bargerstock.
It's right up the middle. It's a good 5-6 yards.
Bargerstock, a kid that didn't join this team until the 3rd game of the season, so he came in kind of late, but he's provided them with a big push towards the latter half of the year.
Well, as much as Churchill runs the ball, if they can sustain a good drive here, that might be the best weapon to stop the Stevenson Titan offense.
And there's a give to Bargerstock again between the tackles, keeps the legs going, and he gets across the 40, 11 yards and a first down for the Chargers.
Looks like they just blocked on and kicked out on the strong side end. And this is the best thing for Livonia Churchill, is to come out and run the football, establish some confidence.
2 hands on the football. Won the turnover battle last week. They had 5 turnovers against Taylor Truman en route to their 34-0 shellacking of Truman. It's now 1st and 10. And the give is to 18, that's Beltran. Beltran cuts it upfield. Beltran's got a first down, couple men to beat, and gets inside Stevenson territory down to about the 42.
They pulled their guard, and he did a good job, got a nice block, and it looked like one of their receivers or slots out there also got a nice block.
17 yards on the pickup for the senior. This is a veteran group. All these skill position players for the Chargers offensively are all seniors, so they're not ready for their season to be over yet. Good run by Beltran. Drew Rozier on the tackle for the Titans. And the give is to, I believe that's 31 Schubert. And Manuel Schubert gets maybe a yard on the carry. Schubert, a champion, a state champion in wrestling. So certainly a good athlete.
Probably the best sport you can play to get endurance for football, too.
You encourage your players during the winter to wrestle and run track in the spring. Especially helps those who are working on the line. There's the give to Beltran, and Beltran gets across the 40, and he's bumped out at about the 38 or 39.
Mike Walmer, the corner for Stevenson, did a real good job getting off his block to help make that tackle.
Walmer, a good-looking cornerback for the Titans. 4 interceptions on the season, and Beltran kind of got the ninja look there with the mask up over the face.
He's cold.
Yeah, it's cold out here. Freezing temperatures here in this regional final game. And they faked to Beltran. This time they pass it, and it's complete over there to number 9, Bargerstock.
They're doing a nice job of mixing up their play calls here. Nice play action pass thrown to the guy in motion.
Gain of 5 on the play. Well, Thomas on the season has completed over 50% of his passes. They don't throw a whole lot, but they've had some success.
Nice easy pass.
And then Walmer again with the tackle, or at least enough to slow him up. Give up a lot of weight there on that hit. The give is to Beltran up the middle, and Beltran spins his way to the 35-yard line. Gain of about 3.
Just an inside trap. What Stevenson has done so well for 2 weeks. Kicked out what's called the 3 technique. That's a strong side defensive tackle.
This is a Charger team that gave up the early score to Stevenson. They marched down the field, but they don't seem too rattled. They're just doing what they do, and they're on the move themselves. There's the give to 31, Schubert. He's tripped up there after a gain of about 2. Matt Peterson, the linebacker, on the tackle for Stevenson. Brings up a 3rd and 4. Certainly a manageable down. It's a good block up front.
They're doing a good job of not getting in real long yardage situations.
See what they do on the 3rd and 4. The give is to number 9, Bargerstock, and he's stopped at the line. Paul Ellis and company on the tackle. And that'll force him into a kicking situation. Frank Beltran, their running back, is also their place kicker. And their
I think
coach
they might be going for it.
Their coach likened him to Bob Busan in terms of ability, said he was a lot like the Stevenson place kicker. And we got a timeout called. We'll take one too. 3:31 left to go in the first quarter. It's the Titans with the early 7-0 lead.
High school sports are defined by the thousands of youngsters who are day-to-day student athletes at the high school level. School sports are defined by community, a community of teachers and students. Communities that gather en masse for school events, for games and pep rallies. Communities that still car caravan to games behind the yellow school bus. A community where the crosstown or cross-county rivalry or the league or city championship is still a big deal.
High school sports, it's about.
Welcome back, everyone. 3:31 left to go in the first quarter, and decision time for the Chargers, and they're going to elect to go for the kick. As Beltran will attempt what is just over a 40-yarder. Kick is up, it's a low wobbler, and it is no good. So the Titans, kind of a bend but don't break defense, and they keep the Chargers off the board, at least for the first drive of the game.
Well, I think the big difference is the fact that Churchill ran back their kickoff to about the 22, whereas Stevenson started their drive about the 40. Both offenses on the first drive went about the same distance. Just Stevenson started in much better territory.
Well, the flip side is Stevenson takes over with not as good field position as they had on the first drive, as they've got it their own 20. And there's the give to Robertson as he gets his way up over the 25 to about the 26. This is a Titan team that can beat you offensively in a lot of ways. And the early returns on this one is they're just going to slug it out and grind it out on the ground.
This could be a very fast game because both teams definitely seem intent on running the football.
2nd and 4 for the Titans. Stiefel, the give to the up man Muglia, and Muglia close to a first down. Might be about a half-yard shy.
Inside trap again, and looked like Churchill blitz, and Muglia still did a good job knifing through there.
It was a good block by Ellis, clearing the way on Schubert. It's kind of the marked man for the Titans. Guy that the fullback will try and pick up every time through, or whoever's pulling. And it's a 1st and 10 for Stevenson. That was a first down. And their first pass of the game goes near side over to Zombo, who finds himself wide open, stays in bounds, and works his way up to the 49. A gain of 19 for the Titans.
Churchill went back to the 6-1, guess and run, and play action pass, caught him by surprise.
Stiefel, a great weapon, and so is Frank Zombo. 62 catches, 872 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the season. And he was thinking about just maybe taking it out of bounds, and then he sees he's got some space, and he says, hey, get some more yardage out of this.
Probably was expecting to get hit.
Yeah. Surprised to see himself that wide open, especially after catching double figures in touchdown or in receptions the week before, and there's a first down run by Robertson.
Speed option.
Gain of 14 for LJ.
Churchill needs to do something here to get a stop.
They haven't done a whole lot to slow down that Stevenson offense, and that's what Coach Filiatro was worried about going into this one. He's had a lot of admiration for the Titan offense. There's a pass by Stiefels. He rolls out, and he flips it out to Zombo, and the throw is a little low and incomplete.
He was there again, but that time they got some pressure on him. Stiefel did a good job, though, using his feet not to take a sack there.
A very, very mobile quarterback. 464 yards rushing on the season. 82 yards in the playoffs last week. And Zombo couldn't quite come up with that one. Good look from the crew down below. 1:48 left to go here in the first quarter. Titans with the 7-0 lead, looking to go up 2 scores. And the give is to LJ. LJ cuts it up inside, then bounces it back outside, gets a great block from Deletka. LJ inside the 15, inside the 10, reaches for the pylon, touchdown Stevenson. 38 yards on the score, and the Titans are up 13-0.
Made a couple great moves early on and just used a lot of speed to get away from the Livonia Churchill defenders.
LJ Robertson reading his blocks very well early on and using his blocks not only at the line, but his blocks downfield by the receivers. Matt Deletka, we talked about it earlier. A big run often has a receiver doing some work, and Deletka kind of had the block that might have sprung him and got him to the outside.
Well, they had him at the line of scrimmage, and he made a great individual move, and then one more, and then they had some downfield blocking.
Some heat on the extra point, but Babusan puts it through, and the Titans now with a 14-0 lead here in the first. Here's another look at that touchdown run by Robertson. Muglia with a good block, and then he makes a great move there to the inside and back to the outside. Here's Deletka, just got enough of that linebacker to chip him out of the way, and the rest is LJ Robertson. And watch the extension. He's going for the goal line right there. Great run by Robertson, and Stevenson with the 14-0 lead. 1:36 left to go in the first quarter. He's now got 22 touchdowns this year.
And he's getting better and better as the season goes on.
Lots of credit to the offensive line, and lots of credit to himself personally on that one. That was he did a lot of that one on his own. So Babusan to kick it off. kick is away. It's over towards the corner, takes a couple bounces, and they're able to pick it up. And Corgnan picks it up and gets a small return on it. So good coverage by the Titan special teams. Not very good field position to start for the Chargers once again. They started at the 22 on their first drive. This drive they started at the 21. So they certainly need to get something going here in terms of points. They don't want it to open up in the 2 or 3 scores behind, that's for sure.
They want to at least try to move this ball so they can hopefully pin Stevenson. So you don't want them on a short field right now.
And there's Beltran, and Beltran cuts it up the middle and a flying tackle there. That was Hennigy. Tim Hennigy just came flying in from the linebacker spot. Looked like Beltran had a little bit of room, but only wound up with a 2-yard gain.
It's a long, lanky kid. Looks like he can run pretty well.
So 2nd and 8 coming up for the Chargers. Now to look at it. Hennigy's got some speed in that linebacking court. And there's the give to the up man, and he's met at the line and dropped. The Stevenson defense, a blue wall right now, as number 9, Joe Bargerstock, is dropped on the carry. And that was Josh LaRock, the junior, stuffing them at the line with some help from Frank Zombo.
Stevenson's definitely dominating up front.
Should be the final play of the first quarter. 20 seconds left in the quarter. And they give it to 32 that time, Ben Adams, and he's depleted and brought down at about the 27. Gain of about 3, but that's going to be short of a first down. And that's going to bring to an end the first quarter here on Game of the Week. All Titans in quarter number 1. At the end of 1, they lead the Chargers 14-0.
High school sports are defined in a different way than all other levels of sports. They're defined by the opportunity for all students, not elite athletes, to complement their classroom education at the end of the day. The organization of the games and what they stand for, educational tools to reach and motivate boys and girls, tools which teach lifetime values like hard work, teamwork, leadership, and sportsmanship, are a collective effort of school boards, school administrators, coaches, and officials. The Michigan High School Athletic Association is an organization which assists schools in the day-to-day administration of athletics, directed by the input of schools. It serves as an advocate for school sports, protecting its wholesome amateur nature. It's not a nameless, faceless organization. The names on the school uniforms and faces of our kids and coaches are the MHSAA. They represent what educational athletics are all about.
Welcome back, everyone. Start of quarter number 2, and the Chargers and Frank Beltran doing the punting here. Belfiore back to receive, and he's going to let it go by. It rolls inside the 35 down to about the 33.5. That's where Stevenson will take over for drive number 3. Dave, this is a Titan offense that has rolled up about 28 points a game coming into this one, and they've seemingly gotten better as the season has rolled on, and they got ahead of steam again in this one.
Well, and judging from the stats and some of the things we've talked about with Livonia Churchill not being able to throw the ball that well, Churchill really needs to stop him here. Otherwise, this is going to be a long, long night for him.
Stiefel fakes to Robertson. He's got plenty of time. He throws over to Muglia as Muglia is open and tackle over there. He's down at about the 38, gain of about 5.
So much easier on a quarterback when he's got a 2-touchdown lead. He can relax. He doesn't have to press. And that's very dangerous for Livonia Churchill, because if the passing game gets going for Stevenson, it is going to be double trouble for Churchill.
Stiefel already a pretty accurate passer to begin with, but you give him all the different options and the defense having to guess on top of it what the Titans are going to do, as opposed to being behind where you may have to pass most of the time. that increases his chances to be accurate even more. Some movement up front, and the give is to Robertson, and LJ's got a first down. He cuts it up and is tackled at about the 48. First down for Stevenson. The Chargers got back on defense. Looked like they might have jumped initially, but got back over the line of scrimmage. And we played that first quarter without a penalty.
Yeah, that's great. I think a lot of times by this stage, the referees don't want to throw penalties and be the main detractor of a good game. And quite frankly, the kids by this time really have mastered their trade and their technique, and you don't see as many.
We are in the regional finals. Both these teams kept a pretty clean sheet to get here. And there's a dangerous pass over the middle, almost picked off by Danny Bowen, number 4.
That was a great play, closed really well on the ball there.
Bowen, a 5'9", 171-pound senior. Already has 3 interceptions on the year. He was making a bid for number 4 there, so we take another look at it. Stiefel, again, plenty of time. Just floated on him a little bit. He's trying to go to Deletka, the sophomore, on that play. So 2nd and 10 for Stevenson. They give to Robertson. Robertson over the 50. Robertson inside the 40. Cuts to the outside. Gets a great block from Zombo inside the 20 and pushed out at about the 16. A gain of 36 for LJ Robertson.
Just ran a little draw, invited the Churchill defenders upfield, got a seam, and then once LJ gets to the open field, it's difficult for any defense to stop him.
And there you see Zombo. There's a great block by Kilgo, putting one of the Chargers on the backside. And as you said, Zombo getting a block right there. Give LJ another 10, 15 yards at least on that run. And they give us to LJ, and he tripped up that time and gained maybe a yard.
The turf monster guy.
Yeah, that's the only one to tackle him yet this game.
His worst run of the night, yeah. And it's by the new turf.
Yeah. Only a yard on that one, and what Stevenson has done very well is on first down they've had a lot of success, but the few times they've gone to the air and not gotten anything on first down, they've come back with a run on second down. They haven't put themselves into a 3rd and long yet.
Well, they're a confident offense, and they're peaking at the right time.
And they fake it to LJ. Stiefel rolls out. Stiefel throws towards the end zone, and it's just out of the reach.
We got a hold over here on one of the Stevenson linemen.
It's intended for Ken Mershman, number 13. Or, excuse me, Rodney Mershman. There's a flag on the play. We'll get our first chance to hear from Cal Tahar in a moment, who was gracious enough to allow us to mic him up. Tahar, the former coach at Flint Berkeley for 30 years, so he's no stranger to the playoffs. And Cal didn't turn the microphone on, but he is wearing it. He agreed to half the battle. It was against the Titans, so they're matched or moved back to their own 28. And they throw again over to Zombo, and Zombo lowers his head and powers his way down to about the 14.
Playing way off of him there. Just ran a little hook and then did the rest himself.
Gain of 14 for Zombo, his 2nd catch of the night. Zombo, who is committed to Central Michigan, will be a Chippewa next year. We'll try not to hold it against him personally.
That's right.
There he is, just lowers his head, and lucky Bowen didn't get whistled for a little 5-yard face mask there. He had a hand on it for a little bit. Stiefel rolls out. He throws over the middle, and a great play up front there by number 56. Mike Woodburn.
They snuck that fullback in the middle of the field and rolled their quarterback out. It's a nice play, but the D lineman made a great play batting that ball down.
He was on an island by himself. If he doesn't make this play, it's trouble for Stevenson. So Busan will be on for the 31-yard field goal attempt. The kick by Busan is up and no good. He hooked it to the left. So our score stays 14-0. And maybe the Chargers catch a little break here in the second quarter.
That penalty definitely helped them out. They should hope for a lot more penalties and a lot of turnovers, because that's a great way to stop any offense.
Busan
lifted his head. Yep. Usually right-footed kickers, when they kick to the left, it's because they're not kicking through the ball. And that's what he did that time. You don't really want to watch your kick off your foot.
So the Chargers start at their own 20, and the give is to Beltran. Beltran tries to bounce to the outside, stays on his feet, cuts up, and gets out close to a first down. Beltran, pretty good runner for the Chargers.
Made a nice move there to stay in bounds.
He could have very easily taken the easy way out, the one that will hurt less tomorrow morning, but he stuck it in there and block out there on Walmer. Walmer still almost got a piece of him. Breaks the tackle of Rozier. And so it goes for only a 5-yard gain. They say he stepped out a little earlier. So 2nd and 5 at the 25. And there's a pass to the 40, and it's caught out there by 32, Ben Adams.
And a nice little boot pass, and that's what being successful on first down can do for you.
Thomas now 2-2 receiving, or on throwing, I should say, for 20 yards. Nothing overly fancy here. Good job by Adams to go down and get that one, and look from the crew down below, it was a clean catch. Snagged that ball before it hit the turf. And Churchill at it, and Beltran upended there by Zombo, just past the line of scrimmage.
Got those long arms out.
You don't see a lot of receivers that do their nighttime duty on the D-line, so to speak.
No, he plays D-line, linebacker, he's all over.
Second and 8 for the Chargers. Thomas under center, he hands off to Beltran. Beltran in trouble, upended for a big loss that time. Frank Persicino, the hero of the first-round game against MLK, with the tackle on that one.
Looked like he had a blocker trying to kick out. He decided to try to take it outside. You can't get yourself in that long yardage situation.
Another look at it. Great play by Persicino. 3rd and 14 forces the Chargers into a passing situation here. See if Thomas can come through. He fakes to Beltran that time, and now he'll throw it back over to Beltran. And Beltran beats Muglia. Beltran's got some room, makes a nice move over the 50. First down for the Chargers.
That's a great call.
18 yards on the play.
They had run that boot 2 or 3 times. They show a rollout action. It's a dangerous pass to throw, but boy, when it works, it looks good.
Maybe they heard you last week, Dave. You kept saying no one's tried any screen passes or anything like that. They would work, and it worked here.
Yes. Well, Stevenson's been flowing to the ball, Anthony, and they caught him there.
Muglia almost got him, but once he got by Muglia, a lot of real estate, a lot of blockers out in front of him. And just to give to number 4 that time. And that's Bowen, and Bowen stays on his feet running hard, and he's close to a first down.
An example of when you make that inside cut instead of always trying to run outside, you usually are more successful. A lot of young running backs want to just run to the corner, but you run out of daylight.
Yeah, you really help the defense out because then the corners and the linebackers can use that sideline as another tackler and kind of try and funnel you that way. Second and a short one for the Chargers, and Thomas keeps it himself and tucks it up, and don't know if he got to the first down. It's going to be close.
Did a good job not taking the sack and did a good job not throwing the ball when there wasn't anybody open.
Sometimes it's the decisions you don't make or the throws you don't make at quarterback
That is correct.
that make you a good one.
There's a lot to be said for just managing the game. Craig Krenzel made a living at that at Ohio State, and now he's doing it with the Chicago Bears.
And a timeout for a measurement. Craig 2-0 as a starter with the Bears. Good to see that.
Yes. But
One of a
he's
few.
an example of a guy that doesn't make a lot of huge plays, but he sure doesn't make very many mistakes.
And they're just short of the first down. Another former area player in the NFL right now, Chris Lewinsky, the former Titan lineman, is an offensive lineman with the Minnesota Vikings. He's drafted originally by the Lions in the 5th round, and the Lions let him go, and now he's the Vikings' best offensive lineman.
Well, I think Lewinsky and Reuben Drones, they probably wanted to make him happy along with Hardings, so they tend to let some really good players go.
Yeah. So 3rd and inches for the Chargers, and the give is a first down and more on 3rd and inches. They get all the way to the 30, a 7-yard gain for number 9, Barterstock.
Made a great little move to jump over somebody there.
Yeah, he's got some mobility there at the fullback position. Another look at it.
Well, either way, this is going to be a fast game, Anthony, because these teams do like to run the football.
They're not going to break any Krenzel passing records in this one, that's for sure. 5:30 left to go in the second quarter. 1st and 10 for the Chargers, down 14-0. The give is to Beltran, breaks a tackle, cuts up the middle, hops over a man, stays on his feet, and pulled down inside the 5 all the way down to the 2. A great run by Frank Beltran.
Was it ever?
He's got kind of the Roger Craig legs there. Keeps those legs pumping, and it's tough to bring down. Not the biggest kid, but he's got some good size, 5'8", 190. Just keeps those legs running. Those are some tough tackles. Runs through 2, 3 tackles and almost in for the score. And the Chargers have done exactly what you said they needed to. Filiatro looking on. There's the give there to Schubert, and I think they're going to say he's just shy of the end zone.
Boy, I thought he got in there. Oh, he did.
Yeah, they do say it's a touchdown. Touchdown, Chargers. And, well, Schubert on the score. And Churchill is on the board here in the second quarter.
I give the Churchill kids a lot of credit because they were steamrolled for a while, and they came back.
You got to give the Churchill fans a lot of credit. You look over there on that opposite sideline, all the way from Livonia, they travel well.
Yeah, they do.
And
they are very pumped right now.
More people in the stands than at a lot of home games you see in the area. There's an extra point up and good by Beltran. So the Chargers are right back into this one, down 14-7 with 4:45 left to go. And quarter number 2, they go 80 yards on the drive for the touchdown after the missed field goal by Stevenson.
80 yards, a lot of plays, a lot of clock, and built a lot of confidence. And the best thing was they got to keep LJ over there getting cold.
And as far as Schubert is concerned, that's his 8th touchdown of the season. That leads the team. Now we'll see if the Titan offense keeps it going or if they start to maybe fall asleep a little bit. They've had a couple games this year, the Chippewa one notably, where they scored on their first 3 touchdown drives. They did it earlier against L'Anse Creuse North, scoring a lot early and then kind of kicking it into cruise control after that. There's Deletka on the return. Deletka's got a seam. He's up over the 40 to the 42.
Great field position to start. Churchill might want to think about kicking away or squib kicking because Stevenson's got a very good kickoff return team.
And once again, it's the blocking just right up the middle. Nothing fancy here, just straight ahead. 2 hands on the ball, don't turn it over. So the Titans 1st and 10 at their own 42. See how they responded to the Churchill score. There's Robertson cut down, gain of about 2.
Well, that's one of the best jobs the Churchill's defense has done on 1st down.
Yeah, their only other stop of LJ on a 1st down run is when they put the magnet in the turf and that tackled. So 2nd and 8 for the Titans. Stiefel up to the line, under center. And he pitches it out to LJ. LJ cuts it up, and LJ tackled.
Great tackle. Great tackle.
It's number 5 on the tackle. Maceo Hicks for Churchill.
I'll tell you what, Kevin Kilgo had a great block out there. He had some space, and then Churchill defender came off his block and just made a great open field tackle. I think as good as Stevenson's offensive line is, the receivers block even better. These guys do a great job.
It makes you think one of us could be running around out there, even picking up a few yards here and there.
Well, maybe the receiver coach, Steve Gorowski, should get like a bonus in his paycheck from Coach Pye.
There's the give to Robertson. Robertson stops, cuts it back up, and he's tackled short of the 1st down. Got maybe a yard on the play. And that Churchill sideline is pretty fired up right now as they seem to have momentum on their side.
Yes, they do. And momentum is such a huge part of football. You see it every week with teams. Once they get the ball rolling and get confidence, a lot of these kids can think they can play with anyone.
It's a good job up front by the Churchill D-line that time as they cut down LJ's first path to the end zone and cut down plan B as well. Stiefel on to punt for the Titans. It's a high one. Back taking it at the 15 is Churchill, and that's Adams. And he's cut down, not much on the return, and as you said, this one gonna march back even a little more.
You just wonder why kids do it. As a football coach here, it always drives me crazy. You know you're gonna clip a guy.
White, 10 yards, half the distance from here. Half the distance. Block in the back. We'll block in the back. Half the distance from here.
There's Kel Tahar. We'd hear from him sooner or later. It's only the 2nd penalty of the game thus far, but this is a big one because it might take some of that momentum away from Churchill. They've already had to go 22 in terms of starting field position, 22, 21, 20, and now they're back at their own 9. This is their worst. See if you can see the block in the back on the return.
Right there.
Not much one. Didn't really have to do anything there. The Stevenson player had already made his move and had missed him.
I think kids just get so excited and sometimes think that they aren't doing their job and they wind up doing something they shouldn't do.
There's Adams, good tackle out there.
Another good tackle.
By one of the Titan DBs over there. Didn't see who it was. Actually, it was Frank Zombo. Moves like a DB sometimes.
Well, if you're the Churchill coach, you want to get one 1st down at least, because you can probably get out of this half. I'd be willing to bet you don't see the ball in the air.
Titans still have all 3 of their timeouts left. So something to keep in mind. And Churchill with the give to Beltran, who hurdles a man and then gets whacked as he gets across the 20 to about the 22. Excuse me, that's across the 15 to about the 17.
It looked like the Stevenson coaches were trying to call a timeout and none of the officials were paying attention to him. Lost a few seconds there.
Andrew Stafford, took a knee to the head there as Zombo company make the tackle, and seen a pretty good first half here. This young David type of team of Livonia Churchill doing pretty well. Not young in terms of their starters, but young in terms of playoff experience, making it this far. And this playoff is shaping up kind of interestingly this year. That you said Churchill might be the David. There's no real Goliaths left. Everyone left in the playoffs has at least 2 losses. The winner of this game gets a couple teams that everyone around here is very familiar with, Dakota or Chippewa, who play each other in the regional finals, the regional 4 final. But both of those teams have 3 and 4 losses. So the winner of this game has a very good chance to make it to the dome.
Shows you how wide open Division I is, and it shows you how truly great Macomb County football is.
Yeah, all 5 MAC-Red teams into the playoffs. There's a pitch out, fumbled, and they cover up on it. Near disaster, flirting with disaster was Churchill there, as Bowen able to cover up on that.
Looked like the toss was really hard and a little bit high. And I think the running back tried to catch it with one hand, which is a cardinal sin.
Kind of a dangerous play to be doing back
in
your own zone there. You do that stuff more around the 50 maybe than back at your own 10 or so. And there's another look at it. Just the high hard one there.
I think he tried 2 hands. It was just the toss was too hard.
Either that, or maybe he got a glimpse of one of those Titan defenders and took his eye off the ball a little bit. Maybe you saw Kevin Lozon down there in the left-hand corner of your screen. Kevin will make you look the other way occasionally.
That's right. I think Kevin's bigger than Ellis and company.
Yes, I know he is. So the Chargers will have to punt. 1:24 left to go. The Titans will get a chance to get some momentum here as we head into the half. The punt is away. It's a low liner to Belfiore, who takes it at the 46, backpedals a little bit, and then takes a knee.
That was interesting.
That's really kind of shows you why he's back there. Good hands and good decisions, and don't risk. You already saw he gave up a couple yards. Didn't want to backpedal anymore. Want to get his offense back out there, because that's the guys that can do some real damage.
Short field for Stevenson.
Saw Coach Wagner do that many times. Pick the punt returner who can catch the football. That's the most important thing.
That was a big weakness for us this year. Just didn't have that one guy that could do it that well.
Stiefel back to pass. Plenty of time. Shuffles out to his left. He's going to run this one. He thought about throwing. Stays in bounds, and he's tackled at about the 36 or 37, close to a first down.
Using his feet to make plays. So very, very important.
Especially in the playoffs, if you have a quarterback that can run, that's another weapon, because everyone is geared so much to stop the running backs and the receivers. If you have a guy that can get out on his own here and make some plays that aren't exactly a part of the playbook, that is an immense help as the Titans take their second of 3 timeouts here in the first half. They got 1:03 left to go, and in the meantime, the chain gang is out to measure this one. I'm feeling it's going to be a Titan first down. Looked like he got enough on the carry. See what they say. And it is a Stevenson first down. Titans looking to do what they did last week against Troy Athens. Athens had that turnover there. They could have sat on the ball in the final minute or 2 of the half, and they wound up throwing downfield and got the turnover. Stevenson drove down and got a field goal going in a half. They'd like to get at least 3 and get a 2-score lead going into this half of this one. Here's to give to Robertson, and Robertson sheds a tackle, running hard between the tackles and inside the 25, down to about the 23.
Stevenson just has so much. It's hard to really focus on stopping one thing.
It's a 14-yard pickup for Robertson. That's his 17th rush of the first half. So he's halfway to his jersey number right there. And there's another give to Robertson, and stopped at the line, but breaks a tackle and gets forward for about 3 or 4.
I'll give the Churchill defensive lineman there credit. Got him in the backfield and lost him, and then came back and got a piece of the tackle.
Danced with him for a little bit there in the backfield, and tracked him down. And you know, LJ, who's maybe one hang up earlier in the year, is a tendency to run tentatively, especially early on in the games. He's completely erased that in the playoffs. He's come out running hard early and often.
Runs with a lot of confidence.
And he's getting a little better at running lower, something that you pointed out last game.
I still think as big and physical as he is, if he just every once in a while decided to run somebody over, it would probably set up his speed moves a little bit better. But I'm sure as he goes on, he's going to only get better and better.
Another year to work on that, definitely. 2nd and 7 facing the Titans with 33.9 seconds left to go in the second quarter. And that is their last timeout. So if they do something inbounds here, they're going to have to get to the line very quickly to try and deaden the ball. I'm feeling we'll see Stiefel take a shot or two at the end zone here. Got Zombo and Deletka out to his left. And he's going that way for the jump ball to Zombo. Zombo wide open and incomplete.
Waited too long to throw that ball.
He had him. Surprisingly, they gave him a lot of room over there on the left side. Another look at it. He had a good 5-yard cushion or so over there. And
just
off
a
the
little bit too
fingertips,
long.
and he probably would have not come down in bounds had he made the catch. So Stiefel, 3 of 7 thus far in the first half for 38 yards, unofficially. He's also got a 10-yard rush.
Well, Churchill's changing coverage up here a little bit too. They're not going quite so much man, one man under, it looks like.
There they go to Zombo on the slant. He powers his way into the end zone for the touchdown. The speed of a wide receiver, the strength of a fullback, and touchdown number 2 on the season for Zombo, or number 2 of the playoffs, I should say. And Stevenson has the momentum back and their 2-score lead.
Well, it looked like they were playing man under in the corner, let him go inside, and the safety was so far back that he just split that little seam.
They probably thought they'd bring him down before they got in the end zone, but he just put a couple guys on his back and said, come along for the ride. Extra point by Busan is up and good, and the Titans with the 21-7 lead here in the second quarter. 22.2 seconds left to go. Here's another look at the touchdown. Zombo catches this at about the 9-yard line. Look at that, just lowers his head and takes 3 guys in for a ride with him. Touchdown number 4 on the year, Frank Zombo. And Stevenson, as we said, the 21-7 lead. That's Zombo's 3rd catch of the first half. He's gone for 53 yards and the touchdown. Stiefel's now 4 out of 8. And the Chargers will need to show some life at the start of quarter number 3 unless something really interesting happens here in the last 22 seconds.
Boy, that's heartbreak for the Churchill kids.
Yeah. They had played a lot better in the second quarter, and they had things going on their side, but again, the bad field position kind of put them in a hole, and they paid the price that time. Busan puts a foot into this one. That'll be a touchback. So again, the Chargers will have to go 80 yards. Their field position in the first half has not been very good.
Nope. I think their best start was the 22.
Yeah. Best start the 22, worst start the 9. Started 2 drives at the 20, 1 at the 21. And that was something that Coach Baya had talked about in the pregame. Oh, win the field position battle, win the turnover battle. So far, both teams have kept a clean sheet turnover-wise. But Stevenson definitely winning the field position battle. And they're just going to run it to 31. That's Schubert. Schubert gets about 5 yards on the carry. And I think the Chargers are just going to let the final seconds run off the clock here in quarter number 2. The Stevenson Titans in control in the first half. They had 3 good drives, 3 touchdown drives, and they lead it 21-7. The running game doing well, the passing game doing well, and even Frank Zombo, or wideout, doing well at halftime. The Titans lead it by the final score of 21-7. Zombo 3 catches, 53 yards, and this touchdown 9 yards after the catch on this one, and his 4th score of the year. Stevenson leads at halftime, 21-7.
Hello, I'm Joe Sturza.
And I'm Dan Rizek. Here's a look at what's making headlines this week in Sterling Heights.
Sterling Heights has 3 new players.
Robertson, the story of the first half, 18 carries for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. Danny Stiefel was 4 of 8 for 58 yards and a touch in the first half. For the Chargers, John Thomas, 3 of 3, 24 yards. Frank Beltran, their leading rusher, 9 carries for 58 yards. And number 43 gets the return.
The best start of the night.
Yeah, after not having a start come out past the 22-yard line, they make a 2-yard gain on that. Start at the 24. That was.
No, I think it's a 30.
Kerrigan. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
Or 29 yard line.
Yeah, the 29.
Oh, yeah.
Even better.
Yeah, a lot better.
Kerrigan with the return for the Chargers. Churchill needs a score here. They need to get it back to a 1-score game. There's the give to Beltran, and he bounced it to the outside and makes a little skip move and gets over to the 30 to about the 31 or 32.
He made a couple really good moves to gain a yard because Stevenson is definitely taking over the line of scrimmage.
Beltran had a good first half, as we said, 9 carries, 58 yards. Another look at it. Gets away from Zombo. Josh LaRock on the tackle. Walmar in there to help finish it off. Beltran also had an 18-yard reception in the first half. 2nd and 9, and Thomas to throw this time, and he kind of lofts it up and caught in bounds. Good catch there by 32, Ben Adams.
Wasn't pretty, but it sure was effective.
Yeah, kind of almost got punt height on that 5-yard pass there. But he's 4 for 4 now. Another look at it. Rolls out, and then lots of air under this one, and Adams did a good job to be able to catch that one and keep his feet in bounds because he probably knew he was getting close to that sideline over there. So a 3rd and 2 for the Chargers, and the give is to Schubert, and looks like he's got enough for the first down.
Schubert is a very good short yardage runner.
5 carries on the night for Schubert. First down for the Chargers. And they were able to move the ball pretty successfully against Stevenson in the first half. Had the one good drive, had another drive that resulted in a missed field goal.
Well, if they can score here, they're definitely right back in it. As much as these teams are running the ball, though, if you get down one more score, it's probably over.
If they give their fans anything to cheer about, they've shown that they'd be up for the task on that far sideline. And there's Bowen, and not much to cheer about there for Churchill as Bowen tackled for no gain.
Still think it's a little bit too much east and west, and if he cuts up that field, he might get hit more, but he's going to get 1 or 2 yards more.
Beltran and Bargerstock are the two that run more north-south. For other runners, Adams, Bowen, seem to be more the get to the corner type guys. Beltran seems to be able to do both. Gain of 1 on the carry. 2nd and 9 for Churchill. And Thomas gives to Beltran, who cuts it right up the gut that time, makes a move, first down and more inside the 45 to about the 42.
I think that's the guy that really is doing the most damage for him. Inside running.
We saw Danny Wise, the small, quick back last week for Athens, have some success, and I guess this is the Churchill version of Wise, Mr. Beltran. There's another look at it. And he's very good at hurdling guys.
Yes.
He's
avoids contact but keeps going forward.
He's hurdled quite a few Titans in this one. And there's another give to Beltran, and cuts his way up for about 5 or 6. And tackle by Peterson. And Beltran seems to be what worked for them in the first half. They probably went into halftime, talked about it, and said, hey, we gotta get him more touches in half number 2.
Yeah. There's no going back, so, I mean, if he's got to carry the ball 40 times, give it to him 40 times.
These are all seniors out there for the Chargers. Thomas has it himself this time, and he passes. Wide open there is number 9. And
late flag coming down. It's going to come back.
And tackled at about the 24. It's a gain of 15, but we'll see what Cal Tahar has to say about it.
Illegal man downfield, I think, is what they're signaling.
Okay. Ineligible.
We have an ineligible downfield on the offense. Blue cap.
And Tahar with the call there. You were correct. That one, so they'll march it back up. They'll replay the down. Zombo at the line, almost getting a piece of that pass again. It was a well-designed play,
yes,
and would have put them 5 for 5 on the night in the passing game, but we go back to a 2nd and 10 now. Not the end of the world for Churchill, but loss of negates a 15-yard gain on the play. And Thomas back to pass again. He's in trouble and just heaves it up there, and too many Titans in the area, and it falls to the turf. A sea of blue, and somehow it hits green.
That should have been intercepted for sure.
Yeah, it was almost too easy.
Yes.
That was
interesting to see if they come back and maybe screen the Titans. That worked so well for them the one time. And they're coming upfield pretty hard.
Another look at it. In trouble, Paul Ellis, right up the gut in your face. That'll make you get rid of it in a hurry. And back to the action. Beltran stopped after a gain of about 1 or 2, so that's going to force Churchill into a decision here. They can either punt, and that looks like that's what they're going to do. Try and pin Stevenson back deep in their own zone. Or it might be a decent time for a fake. They're at the Titan 43. Yep. Their running back is also their punter, which isn't too bad.
It is 4th and 9, so if they're going to fake it, it better be a really good one.
And he gets it away. It's a low liner. Takes a hop at about the 10. Belfiore gets out of the way of it. A great punt by Beltran as it rolls dead at about the 6.
Hopefully for Churchill's sake, they get a stop here. He gets in field position.
They got what they wanted as far as pitting Stevenson back in their own zone, and now we'll see what the Titans can do with not so good field position here in quarter number 3. Coach Filiatro needing his defense to step up here in quarter number 3. Titans backed up, they pitch it out to Robertson, and Robertson cuts it up, gets over the 10 to about the 11, gain of 5.
They toss the ball to the weak side there away from the tight end, and those 2 receivers do a great job blocking.
Again, the toss, when you're backed up in your own zone, maybe living a little bit dangerously, but no problems on that one, but that's what got the Chargers into trouble late in the first half. Gain of 6 on the play, they say. Now they go back to 5. 2nd and 5 for the Titans. And it's Robertson again, and not too much for LJ on that run.
Looks like Churchill ran a little bit of a line stunt up there, and I think the guy that looped around actually got part of the tackle. They're a lot smaller in Stevenson, so they probably figure they have to move around and stunt more up front. That time it paid off.
Gain of 1. Job by number 8 for Churchill coming in and making the big hit for them. John Thomas.
Would not be surprised if you see a draw or screen down here.
Stiefel loads up, and he finds the next best thing.
Or the
Frank
best
Zombo.
thing.
Yeah, or the best thing.
I think I would cover Zombo
Yes.
on every third down for sure.
Gain of 7. He is Mr. Third Down. At the end of his Titan career, at the awards banquet, they should just give him the 3 off of the yard marker over there, and just let him take that with him, because he's their third down man. 3rd and over 5. That's where it's going most of the time. And most of the time, he delivers. There's the give to Robertson, cuts it up the middle, makes a nice move, lowers his head, and gets...
Got his pad level down.
Up to about the 27, gain of 7. .547 and ticking here in the second half, and another look at it. Josh LaRock out in front with a nice block. Robertson, first part of that run was all offensive line, and he finished it off himself nicely. 2nd and 3 for Stevenson. Muglia and LJ in the backfield, and the give is to LJ, and Robertson close to a first down.
This offensive line is just dominating Churchill.
A lot of size, a lot of experience, and some good quickness on that line up front. Just a big enough hole for him to get through. Tackle there by Michael Minugian, 6'3" senior. But it is a Stevenson first down, and they pitch it out to Robertson. Robertson cuts it upfield, and it gets across the 35 out to about the 37. Gain of about 6.
Boy, Robertson might finish the day with 40 carries.
Yeah. Well, that's what it took for Michael Zach and Dakota to knock Eisenhower out of the playoffs. Michael Zach, their running back, who's not a very big guy, 40 carries in their 24-13 win, which said adios to Ike in the state playoffs. And there's the give to Muglia, and Muglia over the 40, down to about the 42. Another first down.
Haven't heard from Mr. Muglia for a while.
No. And have not heard at all from Ricky Venetilli or Kevin Kilgo as of late. And you wonder if that's by design, if they think they can get away without using those guys during the playoffs and sneak up on teams that have maybe just started scouting them in the playoffs.
I think they're in a groove, and they're staying with, what they've been successful with lately. And
Stiefel keeps that one himself on the option. He's dropped for a loss there. Not much going on that run for Danny Stiefel.
It's a trap option we saw last week,
which worked really well the one time, and then he fumbled at the end of the run, and then they gave it to him again next time they had the ball.
They ran trap quite a bit more last week. That probably had a little something to do with it too.
No gain on the play for Stiefel. 2nd and 10 for the Titans. Zombo and Deletka out to the right. And back to pass as Stiefel flips it out to LJ, makes a nice move and a good ankle tackle there by 32 Adams.
Was it ever? That's a big play.
Ben Adams, 6'1", 162-pound senior, makes the play on Robertson. No gain on the play. Take another look at it here. LJ gets by him. He's got a first down, but tried to juke him. Adams did not leave his feet, and then It's just enough of LJ to bring them down. That's how it's done. 3rd and 10 now for Stevenson. They throw it to Zombo. Zombo's got a seam, and Zombo's into Charger territory, pulled down at about the 32.
Just ran a little quick receiver screen. Got lineman out in front. An excellent call by Coach By and the staff there.
24 yards on the play. Zombo's 5th catch of the night. Again, the DB is playing off Zombo a little bit and giving him a little bit of room. First and 10 for the Titans at the Churchill 32. Stiefel fakes it, throws it over to Kilgo, and Kilgo drops it. Incomplete.
Well, there's Mr. Kilgo.
Yeah, that's the first time I think they've tried to throw to him in the playoffs.
Well, he's probably shocked he was getting the ball. He's probably so nervous and excited to hopefully score a touchdown.
You know, he's kicking himself. He wanted to do something with it. And just looking upfield before he had it. Just the smart thing, though, it made sure he bounced back on it in case, for some reason, referees said it was a lateral. Clearly a forward pass, though. So 2nd and 10 for Stevenson. Deletka in motion. And they give to Robertson. Robertson breaks one tackle, and he's pulled down by a herd of Chargers there for little or no gain. Someone got just enough of the jersey there to slow him up, and then...
Might have been his hand warmer.
Yeah.
Might have got a part jersey, part hand warmer. Let's see.
Another look at it. 73 that had him. Then I think 57 might have.
Yeah, jersey.
52 actually came in and got him. That was Hafiz Qureshi, who slowed him up just enough. Stiefel back to pass, and Stiefel looks deep to Deletka along the sideline, who takes a shot and makes the catch. 25 yards on the carry, and the sophomore hangs on to that one and makes a big play for Stevenson.
Well, they ran curl, wheel, grass out of the backfield, play action. Zombo ran the curl. Deletka ran the wheel right up the sideline. You see the fullback running the grass.
And a great job, good concentration. He had to know he was going to take a shot, and probably caught the defender out of the corner of his eye and hangs onto it. There's the give to Robertson, and he runs into the pile and is stood up there. No gain on the play.
This drive seems like it's been going on forever.
Yeah, we talked before the game to Coach Filitro, and he said that they wanted to control the clock, win the time of possession, but this Stevenson offense isn't just a big play offense.
No.
They can grind it out and make your defense tire out as well.
Well, it's demoralizing because you focus on stopping the run, and then Zombo catches a pass.
You focus on Zombo, and there goes the fullback up the gut.
Yep.
There goes Robertson. There's Stiefel this time, who wings it out there into the end zone. Touchdown, Frank Zombo. 8-yard touchdown, and Stevenson now leads it 27-7.
Quarterback playing with a lot of confidence.
Stiefel's 2nd touchdown of the game. 2nd one to Zombo, who now has more touchdowns in the playoffs than he had in the entire regular season. And Zombo is making his way onto that MHSAA record page for catches in the season. He gets up there into the mid-upper 60s on the year. He'll get on the board, and all he probably cares about right now is the fact that Stevenson's on the board once again as they go up 3 scores here with 32.3 left to go. 2 hands, got a man draped over him. Zombo makes the catch anyway. Stevenson with a 3-touchdown lead now, and Zombo with 6 catches on the night. It's quite a weapon to have on the high school football field.
Yes, he is.
you've got a pretty good receiver in your own right down there in Ivan Jokic, but Zombo not only has the speed, but he's just so big and physical.
Yeah.
He is tough to deal with. He's a tough matchup for the opposing DBs.
No, you're right. I think that's one thing that would make Ivan's game better is to get a little bit bigger, because he sure is fast. He's got great hands.
6 catches unofficially for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns for Zombo. It's been the Frank and LJ show here at Runkle Field.
Really impressed with the blocking, the team blocking that Stevenson does. The receivers do a good job. This Ellis kid up front is a great blocker. He can pull, he can base block.
Touchback for the Chargers. So once again, they'll start at their own 20, and they've just never been able to get the upper hand in terms of the field position game in this one. They've had to deal with the long field every single time.
And if they start trying to throw the ball, which is something that obviously they don't do a whole heck of a lot, they could be in some deep trouble.
They're not a bad throwing team, but they're a good throwing team when they can do it within the constraints of their own offense. When they still have the run as a viable option. But if they have to drop back and chuck it, as you've seen with maybe an Anchor Bay this year, that's another wing T type of team. That's not something they do that well.
Looks like we might have a delay a game here.
We hear it officially from Mr. Tahar. Nope. So they'll start at their own 15. First and 10 for Churchill. Adams goes in motion. And the give is to number 9, and he's thumped up there at the line. And that's Zombo coming in, making the big hit, along with Aaron Belfiore and others.
Should get them out of the quarter.
Final 14 seconds of the third quarter, and looks like Churchill is just gonna sit on it here going into the half. They're walking over to the sideline. The third quarter kind of an extension of the first half. The Titans grinding it out on the ground, and Frank Zombo doing all the damage through the air. At the end of 3, the Stevenson Titans on top of Churchill 28-7. Frank Zombo having a big night once again in the second week in a row. 6 receptions, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, including this one. We'll be back for quarter number 4 after this.
They're voluntary after-school activities available to those enrolled at the school who meet eligibility standards, not a property right. They're tools to help reach and motivate students, aiding classroom performance and rallying community support for school programs in general. They're staged in a classroom requiring the proper atmosphere, good sportsmanship at all times. They teach loyalty, school spirit, teamwork, hard work, discipline, sacrifice, leadership, and sportsmanship to help participants gain a lifetime appreciation for arts, sports, and healthy lifestyle. They emphasize participation and academic scholarship in the classroom for the many. They are programs where local school administrators make decisions in the best interest of all participants. They are programs which emphasize local competition, not statewide and national events.
High school sports, it's about.
Welcome back, everyone. Start of quarter number 4 out here at Runkle Field. 28-7 our score is there's number 9, Bargerstock, with a short gain. And Churchill has got to get going and do it in a hurry if they're going to get back in this game.
Well, it just might not be within their offensive scheme to get back in it. But if they sure start trying to do things they're not good at, they're probably going to give Stevenson a great opportunity to score a bunch of more points here in a hurry.
Down 3 scores, facing a 3rd and 15. And there's the handoff to Beltran, and he's upended and tackled at about the 17, gain of only 3. when they needed a lot more. A little surprised. They probably have it in their arsenal, but they haven't used it yet. Maybe they haven't tried to get Beltran out of the backfield deep, matched up against maybe a Stevenson linebacker or a safety. Or
Well, I think they threw to him once, and it was when they had the illegal man downfield. He's definitely their best offensive player, though, and you would think they would try to match him up sometimes.
Stevenson has done that a lot with Ventilli with success, and Belfiore calls for the fair catch and makes it. So the Titans will start out with good field position again as a late flag comes in, and we'll see what the call is.
I think they might have bumped the guy that caught the fair catch out. They're waving it off, maybe.
Didn't look like they were that close to him. Like Belfiore caught it without any impediment, unless someone said something. See if Kel Tahar can clear this up for us here.
We have a fair catch violation. Fair catch violation. 5-yard penalty. First down.
There you go. Apparently they got a little too close to him. Looked like he had enough room there. One of the
No, I think they called it for not signaling a proper fair catch, which I thought he did.
Yeah.
But I think he waved both his arms, which might be the violation.
There's another look at it.
Yes. That's a signal for what most people call poison, get away from the ball.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he got called for it.
So it goes against Belfiore and the Titans and marches them back 5 yards. They start from their own 42, pitch it out to Robertson. Robertson over the 50, and they get back to where they're supposed to be, and then some as they're out at about the 42-yard line of Churchill.
Now, there was a case where I think LJ could have just buried that guy, but he wasn't sure if he wanted to make a move or he wanted to run him over.
Part of it could be the weight he lost in the offseason, kind of turning into a little different runner.
Yeah.
Maybe the fact that he's a little more fleet of foot and has more moves this year. Sometimes in mid-run, unclear on which LJ to be. And Stiefel back to pass this time, and they were going at Kilgo, and throw was at his feet, incomplete.
Stevenson definitely is going for the jugular here. They want to get another touchdown and erase any doubts.
Not seen Ventilli. At this point, there's another look at it. And one thing's for sure, if Kilgo catches that ball and people are in front of him, he's going to try and run through them.
Well, it's probably a lot better for him than trying to run away.
Yes. 2nd and 10 for the Titans. Stiefel fakes the handoff, now flips it out to Muglia, who had to go down to make the catch. He makes the catch, but it's only a gain of about 2 or 3. Muglia's 2nd reception of the night brings up a 3rd and 8 for Stevenson.
I wonder if Churchill could call a timeout and try to get Zombo out of the game somehow.
Yeah. I'd say they go maybe try and look at his eligibility, because he's reminding them a lot of a college player.
Sure.
Maybe they go and look at his GPA, but I think that's about around the 3.7, 3.8 mark. So there's no way they can get him out the field. Look at Stiefel escape one tackle and then get sacked finally there by 73.
Took a hit there and almost looked for a second, got his ankle caught under, but he didn't. That makes Coach Bai nervous, I'm sure, seeing his quarterback get hit this late in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, in a game that's well in control. That was 53 that had the initial pressure, or 52, I'm sorry. That was Qureshi with the pressure. Stiefel on to punt. Punts it away. Low liner. And takes kind of a Churchill bounce and gets down. And then we got a takedown between a couple players on the near side, and no one saw it. And both players probably fortunate as I think 36 and 16. Kocher and Civet going at it. At any rate, first down Chargers, 8:32 left to go in the fourth. And Thomas and the offense go back to work. Thomas back to pass, holds on to it. Now he'll take it himself, and he's taken down by Josh LaRock right around the original line of scrimmage.
Josh LaRock has played a pretty good game for the Titans. We've called his name quite a few times today. Moves well for a big guy.
Yeah, he's had a nice junior year for Stevenson this year on both sides of the ball. He had plenty of time, just good coverage in the secondary. He had to tuck it under and try and get something with it. Thomas, not a big threat to take off running. 58 rushes for 77 yards on the season, so not the kind of average that's going to get chunks of yardage. He unleashes this one, and they were trying to go to Beltran there.
Out of the backfield. There's your man, and he was open.
He was open, but Thomas overshot him by a good 10 yards. Yeah, certainly a guy that Stevenson might want to spy coming out of the backfield. Certainly their big downfield threat. Coming into this game, Churchill does not have a receiver, did not have a receiver with 10 catches.
Wow.
A 9 and a couple 8s to lead the way for them. So they spread it around, kind of like we saw from Athens last week, but even more so. He's back to pass, steps up in the pocket, throws over the middle, and it's complete to number 3. That's Doug Manning, the 6'2" senior. That's his first catch of the night.
It's a quarterback making the play with his feet, avoiding the rush, stepping up, made a real nice decision there.
13-yard gain and a first down. Another look at it. Manning, their biggest wideout at 6'2". That's the first time they've gone to him tonight. Stevenson will say, you can have that all you want. Keep that clock running. There's the give to Beltran, and skips his way out of bounds. Not much on the carry, though.
Well, it looks like it's probably going to be 2 MAC red teams in the state semifinals.
The winner of this game goes on to play the winner of the Dakota Chippewa game. That game will be held in Birmingham.
Do you have any predictions for that, Anthony?
No, I do not. I think that Stevenson handled Dakota pretty easily in their first meeting this year. At the Chippewa game, Stevenson had a big lead on them, and there's a ball hit, and again dropped by the Stevenson secondary. Too many guys in the area again, and they break it up from each other. So I was saying though, that Stevenson Chippewa game, if that's what would materialize, would be an interesting one. Stevenson scored on their first 3 drives as we look at it again. Ellis providing the pressure, and then Belfiore having a party over there, but no one brought the ball. Thomas in trouble, and he steps up in the pocket, stays on his feet, still alive, and he gets up to around the 39. Gain of about 5 or 6. But that game against Chippewa earlier this year was played on a Saturday. Stevenson scored touchdowns on their first 3 possessions, and then basically hung on for dear life after that, won 21-17 in a game that Chippewa Valley had the ball deep in Stevenson territory late in that game, decided not to kick a field goal. They went for it. They didn't make it. They got the ball back, went down, missed a field goal. They had their opportunities in that one, and I think that would be a very close game if that would materialize again. Chippewa team has been scrapping all year. There's a good punt, and I think Belfiore might have got his hand on it, and he did because he picks it up. Belfiore back up to the 15, makes a move, and he gets over the 25 before he's collared and tackled at the 26. They say there's such thing as a decleater. That was almost a beheader.
deke leader and a beehitter for sure.
That Dakota game was a game where, well, Belfiore not leaving it to chance. He might have touched it with that left hand, but Dakota game was the one where L.J. Robertson set the school record with 6 touchdown rushes. Stevenson spotted him a 14-0 lead on that one and then just came roaring back and put up their biggest point total of the season as there's Robertson and he's smacked at the line. Loss of 1.
Well, Dakota's definitely been on a roll. They knocked out the #1 team in the state. They were a young team at the beginning of the year, and they seem to be getting better and better.
They made a change at quarterback. They had Hiller, the senior, and they brought in a new QB, and things have really started to click since then. We saw them against Utica, a game where Utica had them on the ropes, and the Chieftains had 3 second-half turnovers and let that one slip away, and that wound up being the big one that cost them a playoff berth. And a timeout for Stevenson with 4:57.
We have a timeout on the field. Charge to the offense, blue, Stevenson.
And our referees didn't get enough time out there, so they're Mr. Tahar's telling us about the timeouts even. Yep. So he didn't call enough penalties and get the FaceTime in the contract. So it lets us know when the timeouts are coming. Now you look at this Churchill team and the kind of year they had, kind of look at their history from 1990 to 1996 as a football program. They won 1 game.
Wow.
Lots of 0-9s and a 1-8 in there. Their last winning season, 1986. That's back when you were in high school.
Yeah.
6-3. And their only other appearance in the playoffs, 1978. They were 9-0 and lost in the first round to North Farmington, 14-3. So, Coach,
we played Churchill when I was in high school, my junior and senior year. 1987, my senior year, we beat them 42-0.
They were 4-5 that year. But since Coach Filiatro has taken over, 5 years of 2-7, then 4-5, 3-6, and then this year their best, 8-3. But it looks like they're heading towards 8-4 as they set up the screen to Muglia. Gets a great block from Ellis that springs him, and Muglia over the 50 and into Charger territory down at the 44-yard line.
That should be about it.
Yeah. Gain of 31 on the play. And we talked about the blocking of Stevenson. Check out Paul Ellis out here. Out in front, making the big move on, big block on Schubert. And that springs the fullback. And Muglia with the big gain. And there's Robertson into the pile for maybe 2. And Stevenson is rolling on. Looks like they're heading towards that state semifinal appearance. The first one for them since, I believe, 1999 against Catholic Central. Game that they got rolled up a bit in that one.
Yeah, Catholic Central has a habit of doing that to a lot of people.
Actually, 98, I believe that would be. And they lost in the semifinals the year before to Catholic Central. As there's Robertson powering his way up the middle for a gain of about 8. Back in 1996, Stevenson made it all the way to the final game before losing in the championship.
Yes, I think they made it in 86 and 96 to the Dome.
We said lots of parity this year in the MHSAA, especially in the playoffs. Titans with 10 wins will be at least tied for the lead in wins amongst teams that are still alive and fighting. And there's Robertson, cuts it to the outside, makes some nice moves, and he might go. Robertson pushed out of bounds inside the 10 at about the 8-yard line. Gain of 26 for L.J. Robertson. And that was his 30th carry of the night. It's been more than a workhorse for him in these playoffs. He's been a thoroughbred.
Well, they're doing what they do best. That's a great thing that great coaches learn, is go with what got you there.
They're kind of that heavyweight fighter that goes to the body a bunch of times, and then in the fourth quarter that other team's hands kind of drop, and then you go for the KO. So there's Muglia for a couple. Schubert on the tackle. And not a lot of nail biters in the playoffs thus far.
So one thing I think Stevenson has to guard against, they've been up in all 3 of their games, and they're going to meet someone that will play them tight.
MLK made things interesting against them in that first round, but Stevenson was up for most of that one. There they try to go to Deletka, and it's incomplete in the end zone. But yeah, you want to guard against. You need a squeaker here or there to spring you at some point, or else you might have that squeaker go in the finals. Stevenson hasn't been involved in a lot of close games this year. They beat Chippewa Valley 21-17. That was probably their squeaker win, if you would, this year. They lost to both Ike and Ford by 3. Those are their only 2 losses, 17-14 in week 3 and week 4 of the regular season. There's a give to Robertson, and Robertson stacked up at the line, and not much doing there for LJ.
I think their loss against Ford probably had more to do with their loss to Ike than anything.
It's kind of the Eisenhower hangover.
Yep.
Because that was the one game where they did not perform well in the trenches. And they felt like they got beat at the line, and they've kind of rededicated themselves since then. The Eisenhower loss, they certainly weren't happy about it, but they could live with their effort. They actually outplayed Eisenhower in that game and had the ball with a chance to beat them several times, and just had too many turnovers in Eagle territory. A couple years ago when Eisenhower went to the Dome, they played your guys' team, and that was a very similar game. You guys dominated them or beat them up pretty well, but in the end, they found a way to squeak it out.
Well, Eisenhower has a habit of doing that to a lot of people, and until you beat them, they just have such a tough mindset. It's so hard.
Yeah, that's why it's almost fortunate for Dakota that they were able to rack up that 24.
We got a
nothing lead on
timeout, Blue, time on the offense.
And a timeout by Stevenson, 1:44 left to play, a 28-7 score. And with 1:44 left, we'll give a little credit where credit is due here on Game of the Week. Executive producer, Game of the Week, is Pat Lehman. It's produced by yours truly and Matt Phillips.
That's Stevenson's second timeout.
Titans' second timeout is here. Our director for this week's Game of the Week, Mike Crimmins, doing a good job down below. Camera operators, Robert Surgott, Ken Patterson, and Joe Sturza. Julie Hodge on instant replay. Matt Phillips on post-production and graphics. Stevenson with 4th and goal here at their own 7, and Bob Busan on to try and get his second field goal of the playoffs. This would be, looks like a 22-yarder. The hold by Persicino. The kick is up, and it is good, and Stevenson is up 31-7 here late in the 4th quarter. Another look at the reaction by Busan and Persicino. Nothing fancy here, just like an extra point.
Might have been actually good for Stevenson that they didn't score, get their field goal kicker a chance to kick a field goal.
Give him a little confidence. He had missed one earlier in the game, so you don't kind of want that looming on your mind as you go into the next round. An impressive performance by the entire Titan team. That their fans are up and out. And you know, you have to give credit to Churchill, a team that's kind of been the bad news bears for a long, long time. And And they've had an outstanding year, certainly one that their fans won't forget. I think they sold 800 tickets ahead of time to their fans before the game even started to get them out here. A good turnout. So for a team to get that kind of support and travel well, I'm sure the kids and the coaching staff appreciate that kind of support.
Well, anytime you get this far in the playoffs, you've had a great year.
Yeah.
I'd rather be here on the field coaching.
There's the kick by Busan, and it's picked up over there by Bowen, and Bowen skips across the 20, down at about the 24. Yeah, no shame in winning a district title in football, that's for sure. So 1:33 left to go in this one. As far as our player of the game call, I think we got co-players of the game in this one. L.J. Robertson had an outstanding game, kind of on the heels of what's been a great year for him. And Frank Zombo again with another top-notch performance in the playoffs. 2 touchdowns, and those 2 guys have been the bread and the butter. And the Stevenson offensive line has been making a lot of pancakes out there for sticking with the the food theme.
And the receivers did a great job blocking.
Yes.
And really, LJ wasn't hitting the backfield too many times.
No. Final minute of play here in the 4th quarter. And it's a give to 24, and he's strung out there on the near sideline and dropped for not much. So probably 1 play left for Churchill and what's been a great year for them, as they will fall to 8-4 on the season. Stevenson will move to 10-2. 10-win season, always a nice one to have in the books. And there's the give to the back. That's number 17, Marcellus Howell. And the junior picks up about 3 or 4. They'll stop the clock to move the chains. Churchill might get 1 more play in here. They finished 4th in their division in the regular season. Avenged one of their earlier losses to make the playoffs, but the Cinderella story ends here for Churchill as Stevenson is victorious for the 3rd straight playoff game on the home field. And Dave, thanks for coming out here and helping me out again.
Thanks for having me. And thanks, Jared Cutler, for being such a good boy and waiting patiently.
Dave's son sitting behind us all game, being quiet and well-behaved. The Stevenson Titans get the 31-7 win on the home field. We're going to take a break and be back with our co-players of the game, L.J. Robertson and Frank Zombo. Zombo's catch here put this game away in the 2nd half. Titans win at 31-7. We'll be back in a moment. Frank Zombo, L.J. Robertson. It was the Frank and L.J. show. First, we'll start out with Frank. Frank, a big game coming in the playoffs. Once again, they seem to give you a little room there at the line and give you space to get open. A little surprised by that?
Yeah, we figured since I had a lot of receptions last game, they were going to bump and run me, play either double coverage, and they played again 10 yards deep, so it was open and we threw it.
Do you think it's because you guys have so many weapons that they can't really, gear up to stop one of you because someone else will bite them?
Because if they double covered or anything like that, you can play bump and run. You got LJ coming out, and they can't stop him either, so either way, we're good.
Speaking of LJ and the rest of the run game, you guys, blocking seems to be one of your strengths of this team, especially the receivers. Is that something that you and Deleka take pride in, is making the blocks downfield to turn a pretty big run into a huge run?
Exactly. We want LJ to get all the yards he can, and we're kind of just in sync. We block to LJ just goes to the outside, we block for him, and it just happens.
All right, congratulations on the win, Frank. Now we'll turn over to LJ here. LJ, over 200 yards yet again in the playoffs, and your blocking has been doing real well for you all year, but this game, you did a lot of it on your own. Are you feeling more comfortable now? Are you completely comfortable with this team after being here for 2 full years now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting to know the guys pretty well, and we all have a great chemistry together. So
you seem to be running harder as the weather gets colder. Are you rooting for the state championship game to be moved outdoors down the road?
I'm trying to stay warm. That's why I'm running so hard.
All right, well, congratulations. How much does this regional title mean to you guys? Stevenson had been down a little bit compared to years past, but this year that you guys have got the luster back. You being new to the program, how important does this, how much does this win mean to this whole team?
It's a great win for us. I mean, we have a goal to make it to the state playoffs. We want to go all the way, so we got to take it one game at a time, and this was a great step for us.
All right, well, congratulations on the win. LJ Robertson and Frank Zomba are players of the game. Stevenson wins the regional title, romping over Livonia Churchill 31-7. That'll do it for this week's Game of the Week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Calling for gray skies and rain at Birmingham City Home High School, but the weather couldn't be better if you're a Stevenson or a Dakota